The Bears led the NFL in total rushing yards last season, thanks in large part to the presence of quarterback Justin Fields. Which team led the NFL in rushing yards by running backs only?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, because you start to look at the top rushing teams in football, and you go, well, wait, the top 4 teams alone right there. The Bears, the quarterback ran. Like you said, the Ravens, we know the quarterback ran. And the Falcons had Mariota last year. The quarterback ran. Daniel Jones and the Giants, quarterback ran. Philadelphia Eagles, Hurts ran. Then you get to number 6, and it's the Cleveland Browns. And I go, quarterback didn't run very much there. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to pick that one. Oh, okay.
They were third. They were third.
They were third. Who was it? 49ers won? Were the 49ers?
Nope.
Falcons were still one, huh?
Falcons were number 1.
Wow.
Cowboys were number 2. And my first inclination before the answer was revealed was the Falcons because of Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier, who had 1,000 yards as a rookie. But then I started talking myself out of it. Then I thought maybe this is a trick question because Josh Jacobs led the league with 1,500-plus yards. Maybe that's enough in and of itself to carry the Raiders to the top, but they weren't even in the top 3. So my first instinct, which I ignored, was correct. It was the Atlanta Falcons. So why don't I stay there with the Atlanta Falcons? Yeah. Now that they had Bijan Robinson, to the guys last year that led the league in rushing among running backs only, Tyler Algier and Cordero Patterson, although I don't know how much we're going to see Patterson in the backfield this year with Bijan Robinson. I don't know who we're going to see where. Jonnu Smith, one of the new additions that we never talk about for the Falcons, he used to play for the Titans before going to the Patriots, but Jonnu Smith is like, I don't have a position. I don't think any of them are going to have positions. I think they're going to move these guys around, and you know what that does? That allows Arthur Smith to drop it into overdrive and go 2-minute and just start moving those pieces around. And Bijan Robinson lines up as a running back, then he's in the slot, then he's split wide, then Cordero Patterson's here, and then Jonnu Smith's here, and Kyle Pitts is there, and every play it's different. But along the way, the best running back core for the NFL this year, I think, belongs to the Falcons.
Yeah, they're definitely up there. I don't disagree with you there. And they're one of the few teams in football that their offense is orchestrated around the running game. And, I mean, if Bijan Robinson is what we think he is, then, yeah, your pick is very good. There's no doubt about that. They were certainly one of the teams I thought about taking first. I think the one I'm going to take first, though, is the team we just got done talking about. I'm going to take the Jets. I don't know. I mean, hey, what's better than having one guy that can take it to the house for 80 yards? Oh, that's right. Having 2 of them. Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, Israel Abikananda that we saw this weekend, the draft pick from Pitt, he's good. Michael Carter's good, coming out of North Carolina. He's got great ability to make people miss in space. You brought up Zonovan Knight, a.k.a. Bam Knight. He's another guy, to your point, Mike, where I think they have a roster that's so plentiful at that position that we get to end at training camp here and somebody's got a desperate need of running back. One of those guys might get traded. But, I like your Falcons pick. I'm going to go with the Jets next.
I will. This is quickly getting difficult. But, okay, if we want the best running back core, we have to at least consider the team that's got the best running back. And right now the best running back is Christian McCaffrey. Now, Josh Jacobs would have an argument to make if he was actually with the Raiders, but McCaffrey is in camp. He's with the 49ers, so I'll go with the 49ers. You add Elijah Mitchell, and the reality that there's always going to be somebody else, somebody we may not be thinking of, somebody we may never even heard of, that Kyle Shanahan will plug in from time to time, and that guy will, under the play schemed up by Shanahan, gain 5.6 yards per carry. So with McCaffrey, that makes it an easy one. And with Shanahan and the way he devises the run game, doesn't matter who else you have. You got McCaffrey, you got Elijah Mitchell, you got whoever else, you're going to have an effective core of running backs.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, it's got the top end big time talent, and then it's got some other guys behind it where you'd go, well, if the top end big time talent's hurt, they're not going to fall off the planet here in the running game with the guys that you mentioned behind them. I mean, Davis, Price, Mason, like you said, Mitchell, they're damn good players. They really are. And then you add the fact in that they put Deebo Samuel back there, right? That's the curveball with some of these teams. And you go, well, damn, they'll do that with him too. That's scary. So they were definitely on my short list of teams there as well, Mike. I'm with you. Now this does get interesting. It really does. And this is where I'm going to go with one that's a little bit, I don't know, projection-based a little and maybe unproven, but one that I think I got great confidence in. One, like you said, the balance. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I look at Kenneth Walker, and I see Kenneth Walker, I see one of the best running backs in football. So, boom, that's one reason I like him. But then they get Zach Charbonnet from UCLA in the draft. Charbonnet is, between the tackles thumper. I don't have any doubt that he's going to be good in that role and give them solid yards that way. DJ Dallas on the roster, not bad. Who else am I missing? Oh, Kenny McIntosh, who they got out of Georgia. You add him to it. And again, I know you're young and whatever, but, like we always talk about, these guys are in their prime in the first, second, third years of their career. We got to take them now before they get too old. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, go off the board a little bit.
Well, you weren't really off the board because it was among the potential selections that Pete added.
Yeah, you're right.
I will say something else nice about Pete.
That's enough for today.
When Pete's producing the show and we have a draft, this is it. This is enough for a year. When we have a draft, when Pete's producing the show, he will put a bunch of selections for us, making our preparation easier. But then the challenge for me is to come up with one that he didn't include. And yes, I'm allowing myself to be influenced by that in making this pick, but at least I admit it. I'm going to go Cowboys. They were second last year, and it's not like Ezekiel Elliott was adding a whole lot to the production. They still have Tony Pollard, and they wouldn't have franchise tagged him if they didn't think he was going to be healthy and ready to go week one. I'm throwing this in there, even though he's buried currently at fourth on the depth chart behind Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis, and obviously with Pollard as the starter. I'm fascinated by Deuce Vaughn. And I saw some clips of him running around guys, and he's so little, and it's just fun to watch. And they may have something with this kid that is, I think, smaller than Darren Sproles. So much focus and so much obsession with the pass game this year. Great opening to take advantage of the running backs. As everyone's worried about what they're going to do with Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, maybe these running backs have something in store for defenses that they're not thinking about, Chris.
Yeah, I hear you there. I'm interested to see how that plays out too. I am Deuce Vaughn, the way he looks, as far as just to the eye, you go, wait, can this guy really make it happen? But man, he can move and cut on a dime. So there's potential there. And yeah, when Pollard's healthy, Pollard's awesome. I mean, he is definitely one of the better running backs, top five-ish conversation type running back in the game, So I think you're going on a little limb right there right now, but I hear you. I want to see more before I would have drafted them, but we'll see where it goes, and maybe by the end of the training camp, you'll be able to stick your chest out and go, see, I was right, Sim, shut up.
Also, one more compliment for the control room. Great job pulling up the Cowboys Deuce Vaughn highlights, even though it wasn't one of the potential
What
selections.
Is wrong with you today? I've never heard you. I mean, usually you're just telling the control room how horrible they are, and we need a new control room. Today, you've given them praise.
What's going on? That's not me. I'm drunk. I'm kidding. I shouldn't joke about that.
No, you should.
I'll be drunk later.
Okay, good.
I was drunk.
You were drunk. Okay.
I have a hangover. You know what that means? It means you're drunk. No, it means I was drunk.
I think my last one here, and this is tough. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I'm gonna go with the Saints, and the fact that, hey, Alvin Kamara, I know it's maybe towards the down part of his career, but he's still really damn good. Jamal Williams, you add that, 1,000-yard rusher. And then I like this Kendry Miller from TCU, who I know we talked about it last week. He reminds me a lot of Alvin Kamara, but I think that's a damn good three right there. I'll take them as my third team.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.